Hi, I'm Dawn and this is where Shabby meets bling. Tonight I'm going to be using a thrifted item, something I've been hanging on to for a while. I've been waiting for the stars to align, for all the components to come together before I could use it. Well, guess what? The stars have aligned and tonight I get to use it. I think this is going to be absolutely spectacular. Let's get started.
This is Santa is Coming to Town. I would like to thank my co-hosts, Monica from Up All Night DIY and Melissa from I'm Merely Melissa. You're going to find the links to their channels and this playlist in my description box below. I thrifted this glass candle holder quite some time ago. I paid $2 for it. What a deal. And I have been looking at it and knowing I wanted to do something kind of cool and special with it. Well, today's the day it's gonna get used. I will also be using this little wood plaque that I picked up at Hobby Lobby and this little wood bowl that I thrifted for a quarter. I love this little wood bowl. The shape is so unique and I have a plan for it. These two little items I picked up in a kit when I was garage sailing, and I'll tell you all about that another time. And I also have a scrap of wood from a previous project and another little wood plaque that I thrifted for a quarter. You can see this one is not in good shape. It has some cracks in it. Here nor there, we're gonna make use out of it. You will see. I will also be using this scrap piece of molding, and that pretty much rounds out what's going to be the structure that I'm going to create for a few little fun characters. This is going to be part of my base along with that piece of scrap wood. So the first thing I need to do is determine how much of that wood I want showing underneath my glass candle holder. I just eyeball it and then I'm going to draw a line where it will be cut. Once that line is drawn, I turn it sideways and kind of gauge where I want to cut this bottom piece. You can see where this piece has cracked in multiple places, and I am going to use it anyway. The section that has cracks in it will be cut out, and then I will join the two pieces that are intact together with some wood glue. I only need the routed ends, but I really need to make sure that it is large enough that I have the same reveal around this piece of wood as I do the scrap piece of wood. Once I get my tentative measurements, eyeballing it, and my lines drawn, I will take it out to the chop saw and give her a chop. Now I need to address what is going to be our roof or our lid of the little structure. I'm going to be using the wood plaque from Hobby Lobby and that little wood bowl. These two items, both flipped upside down, will create my roof. The little scrap will also be used. It will be cut and I will glue it around the perimeter of that little knob, which is the base of the bowl, to create a chimney-like structure. Now I am centering the little bowl on that little wood plaque. Remember, both are upside down. The reason I'm doing this is because I need to have access underneath the bowl. I can't just wood glue these two items together because underneath that bowl, I'm gonna hide both my battery packs for my lights, because you know I'm gonna light it up. If you thought I wasn't gonna light it up, you haven't watched enough of my videos. So here's what I'm doing. I'm using my drill and I am drilling down through the bowl into that little wood plaque all the way around the perimeter in 4 places. I'm going to be taking this little wood skewer and pushing it all the way through the bowl into the wood plaque. After I have all 4 holes drilled through my roof, we're going to call it a roof now, I drill a hole through the wood plaque so I can feed the lights down through it into the little glass candle holder. There will actually be 2 battery packs sitting here, and I will just use painter's tape to tape them into place. I don't want these things permanent. What if something happens and they don't work anymore? I may need to replace them. Once my hole is drilled, I make sure the hole is large enough for my lights to slide through. Now it's time to glue my little skewers in place. I could use wood glue, but I'm just going to go ahead and use my Elmer's Craft Bond. It's an all-purpose glue and it dries a little quicker than wood glue does. I'm going to put some glue on each of the little skewers and I'm going to place them down through the roof. Now I don't want the glue to be on the very end, the part that goes into that wood plaque, because once again, I don't want that permanent. But I do need the little skewer to stick to my little wood roof. These 4 skewers are going to act as little pegs to hold my little roof into place so that I won't jiggle around or fall off. Once all 4 skewers are glued, I will set this aside to dry. Once the little skewers have dried thoroughly, I will cut them off at the roof line using my little coping saw. Once all 4 skewers are cut flush, I grab some sanding paper and sand it smooth. Now it's time to paint the little wood plaque that is part of our roof. I am using a Decor Americana acrylic paint. The color is zinc. Really pretty, really pretty. I noticed some little edges that need to be touched with the sandpaper, so I give it a quick sanding and then I begin to paint. I am just painting around the perimeter of the part that no one will ever see, and then I am going to paint the edges, and I will paint the underneath side, which is originally the top, because that will be visible from the inside of my candle holder. Friday says he really likes this color. He says, kind of looks like my brother Blue a little bit. Yeah, it does. And it's pretty. I will give 2 coats of this pretty paint to my little plaque in total. Once I get the first coat completed, I will set it aside to dry, hit it a second time, and then it will be ready for the roof. Speaking of the roof, we are going to work on that next. I picked up this little bag of shingles. They're made for those teeny tiny cute little houses. I picked them up at Hobby Lobby. I got them for $4.99 on clearance. Originally, they would have been $14.99. I don't know who in their right mind would spend $14.99 on these things, but not me. So I got them on sale. And I figured they're perfect, absolutely perfect, to shingle my cute little roof. I laid out the design with my little shingles so that when I got to the end of each side of each row, I would have to make the exact same cut on each of the little shingles. And I also determined how much of an overhang I wanted for each shingle on that first row. Also needed to be determined was the overlap from row to row. I need to now just make sure that they're even so that as I go all the way around my roof, all the different layers line up. I feel like quite the little construction worker here. Yes, I do. Mini construction. Maybe I'll start one of those tiny house construction companies. Real tiny. Real tiny. Teeny tiny, itty bitty. And I'm having fun. It really doesn't matter how old I get. I love making tiny little things. I love huge things, like oversized things, and I like teeny tiny things. I think a lot of people are like that. The little is very intriguing. Very intriguing. You can see I'm just using a straight edge to kind of keep my lines in order, and I am gluing all my little shingles on with this Elmer's all-purpose glue. This whole process is very straightforward until you get to the ends of each row. And I'm going to show you how to handle that. And I'm going to show you how I handled the top of the roof, because that was a little tricky as well if you've never done anything like this before. Here's how I handled the ends of my rows. When I came to an end, I took a little shingle and I put it into place. Then I used a straight edge, in this case I'm just using another shingle, to draw a line where I'm going to cut that shingle. The line that I drew had to line up with the ridge of the roof, from the top of the roof down to the soffit. That angle had to be the same. Then I take it and I cut it. This case, I have already cut this piece so I can show you how I got its coordinating piece, the piece that touches it on the other side. I put them together and I trace that cut. We want both cuts to be identical. I trace the cut, and then I will cut the corresponding shingle. I am using my coping saw and my little shears to cut my shingles. If I just used the shears, they would crack in half because these little shingles are so extremely thin. And by starting with the coping saw and finishing it with the shears, it gave me a nice clean cut. And you can see how well those pieces match up. Perfect fit every time, guaranteed. Well, 100% of the time, no, it works. It really works. Once both my little shingles are cut and I'm sure they fit properly, I glue them into place. Now to deal with the hip ridge, what I'm going to do is take a shingle and slice it in half from top to bottom. Then those two pieces will lay right up against each other and get glued into place. This will give the illusion that the little shingle has been bent over the side of the ridge. This ridge hip is already complete. Now the final layer, that top layer of shingles. I have determined the overlap I want on this first shingle and I have cut it. Then I take an uncut shingle and I trace a line across right where it will be cut as well. I do this for every shingle on the roof. I have a template and I just use that template of that very first shingle I cut to duplicate all the other shingles to go around the very tip-top row of my roof. Once my roof is complete and all my glue is dry, I am going to paint my little roof. I really like the way it looks, but it does not coordinate with any other aspect of my little project. If I left it like this, I would have to add this exact same wood tone in another place to make it look cohesive. And I don't see a way I can do that with what I'm working with. So I'm going to paint everything on my little roof. Another reason I'm painting the roof is because it is gorgeous and your attention would be on the roof, where I want the focal point, the main focus, to be on what's under the roof, under the ceiling, what's inside my glass candle holder. I start by painting the tippity top of the bottom of that bowl in that exact same zinc color that I painted that wood plaque that is the underside of our roof and the actual ceiling to my little room I'm creating. I am also painting the molded detail that will go around that little bottom of our bowl, top of our roof. It is also getting painted zinc. Next, I start painting the actual shingles. This is also a Deco Art Americana acrylic paint, and it is called slate gray. How appropriate! Now my shingles are not wood, they're slate. Do you see? Do you see? It's all premeditated. It was the plan all along, painted to look like slate. After I complete this first coat of paint on my little shingles, I'll set it aside to dry, and then I will give it a second coat. Remember the two pieces I told you I was going to cut for the base of my little project? Now we're going to address them because they've been cut. Here you can see the center part that was cut out, the damaged part, and these are the two ends that I'm left with, and these will be glued together. Now, because this wasn't the best little wood plaque ever, it doesn't line up properly, but that's all right. We'll deal with that. I add a very healthy amount of wood glue to both sides. Then I will clamp them together and set them aside to dry. We need this to dry thoroughly. It needs to be sturdy because this is going to be the base of our entire structure. And keep in mind, what goes on top is made of glass. This is that scrap piece of wood that I cut. I am giving it a quick sanding to get rid of some of that gloss on there because this will get painted. Our base piece has dried, and now I'm going to unclamp it and see how successful we were. This thing was warped as well. It was kind of messed up, but it was a quad. What are you going to do? You can't pass it by. It's solid wood. And I think from the way it looks, it's going to work just fine. Now I'm going to take that piece we just sanded, that scrap piece, and I am going to glue the two pieces together. Once I have that top piece glued, I will line it up with the bottom piece, making sure the reveal is equal all the way around, and then I will clamp them together, then set them aside to dry. And once again, I'm using wood glue to glue these two items together. Once dry, I mend those cracks, those areas that did not line up perfectly, using one time to do so. Then I set it aside to dry. Once dry, I give it a quick sanding so we can paint. My base is getting painted with that same gorgeous zinc color that I used on the roof base and the little chimney-esque feature on the top of the roof. It will also get 2 coats. Now to start putting things on the inside of our little glass house. These panels are little brick panels made from high density foam, and they are available on Etsy, and I will leave the link to them in the description box. What I did was I cut them to fit that little piece of wood, that real thin piece of wood that I told you came from a garage sale, and I hot glued them into place. Now I'm giving them a coat of paint. This is an apple barrel paint by Plaid, and the color is Spiced Berry. Isn't it gorgeous? It's so pretty. It's deep and rich, and I absolutely love it. And it's a great color for brick. This brick is going to be the floor of our little house. My floor will get one really good coat of paint, and if I have to touch up once it's dry, I will. I found the family that's going to be moving into the little glass house at Walmart, of all places. I thought they seemed like a nice family, so I struck up a conversation. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And Mr. Snowman said to me, "We need a house. Can you help us out?" And I replied, "Of course I can. I can accommodate you. I'm renting out this cute little glass house at the end of the street." So I did say the snowmen were nice. I never said they were cute. They are quite homely, but I bought them thinking they would be really good to give a little makeover to. They were only $2.14 each, and I didn't think that was too bad for a nice, sturdy base to begin with. The first thing I did to them was cut off that little loop at the top, the thing that actually made them ornaments, because they're not going to be ornaments anymore. They're going to be freestanding characters. Now, I have 3 total. I have 2 of the larger. Is going to be Mr. and Mrs. Snowman and Junior. Junior is the smaller guy with the hat. After I cut the little loop off, I'm going to add a dowel to the bottom. The dowel is temporary. It's only there to give me something to hold on to as I give my snowman their little makeovers. If you will notice, I used my hot glue gun, the tip of the nozzle, to create a larger hole for my little stick to go into. Once that dowel is glued into place, I can begin the makeover. I start by giving my little snow people some facial features. Mr. Snowman is going to get his eyes drawn on. This is just a marker. This is a Milwaukee marker, no different than a Sharpie. I think they're a little higher quality, but still just a black marker. I am drawing on the eyes, and then I will draw on his little smiley mouth just by making little circles, and then I will give him 3 buttons down the front of his little body. I give Junior the exact same details, then their noses get painted. I am using a terracotta paint by Rust-Oleum. I give their noses 2 coats of paint. Now, everybody gets arms! Woohoo! This is just a artificial winter branch that I use all the time because it's wired and it looks like real wood. Pretty cool stuff, I have to say. I like using this stuff. And once again, to adhere the little arms to the body, I'm using my hot glue gun. I just take the hot glue gun and press it into the body of the snowman and it creates a hole. Then I glue his little arm in place. I repeat this process with his other arm and with Junior and Mrs. Snowman's arms as well. Once the arms are in place and the hot glue has dried, I will cut the arms to the length I'm after. Mr. S now has eyes, nose, mouth, and buttons, and a couple of arms. But what I'm doing next is really what's going to make him look like a snowman. I am using my matte Mod Podge, yes, busted up Podge, and I'm going to apply some sand and glitter, my mixture that I use to make snow. It's just decorative white sand and white glitter. You've seen me use this mixture before, and it truly looks like snow when it's completed. I apply the Mod Podge thickly using a stippling motion. I don't want this smooth. I need a thick layer so it doesn't dry too quickly. And because of how fast Mod Podge tends to dry, I work in small areas. I'm working in his little chest area around his buttons to begin with. Once I get this area covered, I will sprinkle on the sand glitter mixture very, very thickly. Then I use the soft end of a sculpting tool to reveal his buttons. Once I get to his little face, I will once again use my sculpting tool to reveal his eyes and his mouth. Then I continue with the rest of his body. I will do the exact same procedure on both the other snowmen. Mr. Snowman is going to get a couple of accessories. One of them is going to be a pair of ear muffs. I will use one of these foam ball vase fillers and a napkin ring, at least the metal part of the napkin ring, the ring itself, to create a pair of ear muffs. Mr. Snowman and Junior will be outside, while Mrs. Snowman will be inside the house decorating the Christmas tree. The first thing we're going to do is create a tree skirt for our tiny little Christmas tree. I will be using some of this checked fabric that I got for $3. And it was not alone, it was in a big old plastic bag with a lot of other really pretty colored checked fabric. I'm using an old jar lid to trace a circle onto my fabric. This will be the size of the tree skirt. Now I'm going to cut it out. So we have a tree skirt, but now we need a tree stand because our little tree needs to stand upright. And I want a gentle curve on the little tree skirt, and the shape of the funnel will form it. This little plastic funnel was purchased at the Dollar Tree. The spout of the funnel is too tall because there's only limited ceiling space available in my little glass house, and my tree can only be so tall. So I'm cutting off just a little bit of the spout so my tree will stand at the right height. Once I have this section cut off, I am going to use my hot glue gun to make bark, because that tiny part that sticks up is going to resemble the trunk of my tree. I have used this method many times. My favorite was when I created Hal. I'll leave the link in the description box so you can see how he came out. After my hot glue dries, I'm going to paint it. It will be painted earth brown, which is a paint from Crafter's Collection purchased at Hobby Lobby. Now I need to make sure that my tree skirt will go over the top of my little tree stand. So I'm going to create a hole in the middle. I fold it in half once, then I fold it in half again, and then I fold it in half a third time, and I cut a little tiny bit out of the center. Now I'm going to fray the edges, and I'm going to embroider 3 little snowflakes on my tree skirt. Mrs. Claus will be using red, blue, and green foam vase fillers to act as ornaments on her tree, and she will also be using these tiny little foam beads and this faux snow to create popcorn, because she will be stringing popcorn and cranberries for her tree as well. She will be holding some strung popcorn as well as putting some in one of these little thrifted bowls. I thrifted this bag of 6 for $1. Originally, they were $2.50 each, and that was a long time ago. These things are probably from the 80s.
The roof is on, the popcorn has been strung, and the tree is decorated. The snowman invited me over for a little Christmas visit. Want to come along?
Just a little reminder of where we started with this thrifted glass candle holder and 3 really nondescript snowmen. And now we have this. Welcome to the Snowman's family home. Let's get a better look at the roof. There's all those shingles. Oh, so many shingles, but I'm really happy with the way my little hipped roof turned out. And there she is inside decorating that tree, Mrs. Snowman. She's just about to add the string popcorn and cranberries to her tree. It's a good thing that Mr. Snowman, Junior, and Rufus, the reindeer, are outside, because Rufus has been eating all the popcorn faster than Mrs. Snowman can string it. Here you get a good look at the brick floor, the bowl of popcorn, and the tree skirt. You even get a glimpse of the embroidered snowflakes. I think those foam vase fillers make awesome ornaments. Let's go outside and see what the boys are up to. Well, Mr. Snowman is ready for a snowball fight. Yes, he is. The little snowball is some of my scrappy foam that I added the sand and glitter to, just like I did Mr. and Mrs. Snowman and Junior. And there's Junior and Rufus. Junior's not really sure if he wants to have a snowball fight or play fetch with Rufus. Rufus wants to play fetch, but it's not fair because he can fly to catch the snowballs. It's hard to believe that those snowmen were just plastic lumps, really nothing to write home about, but look at them now, they've come to life. I think we should turn on the lights on that Christmas tree. That's right, I also added lights to the roof. The greenery you see was a thrifted candle ring that I disassembled and have it climbing up the back of the house and winding around the roof line. And then I added that second string of lights just to make it that much more special for the holidays. And there's our tree, all lit up. So pretty. All the extra details were really worth the time and the effort because I'm absolutely in love with this little holiday scene. Thanks again to Monica and Melissa for joining me in Santa's Coming to Town. You're going to find the links to their channels and this playlist in my description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like. Share it with your family and friends and anyone that enjoys DIYs, thrifting, flipping, home, holiday, Christmas, and vintage decor. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and don't forget to check out my shop on Etsy. Leave me a comment because I really do love hearing from you. Ring the bell for notifications of all my upcoming videos. Subscribe. It is a fabulous way to support my channel. Join. It's even a better way to support my channel. But for now, this is Dawn with Shabby Meets Bling. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.